Happy to meet you again, and hope the previous two videos of brain development had made you comprehend the structure of the brain, its functions, and the critical two stages of brain development. With this learning, you would have very well realized of why a simulative, enriching, and conducive environment has to be provided to young children. I could hear you asking, how to provide such an environment? This section would give you certain suggestive strategies to foster brain development. Though the child is born with the genetic potentials, brain development is something that is determined by more of external events, what we call it as environment. Though the genes happen to fuel the synapse formation, it is the environment that fine-tunes the brain and fosters the synapses to decide on the type of connections to be maintained and that of the type of connections to be pruned. In other words, the synapse used more often gets stronger and stay ingrained in a child's brain. So, how to create an enriched environment for a child to have an effective and healthy brain development? Let us go through some 8 ways to stimulate brain development. The first is by enhancing the memory development of a child. Brain development of young children can be fostered by enhancing the memory potential of the children. The research concludes that children have the ability to form a stable memory to interact with and learn about their environment. Before learning about the ways of aiding children towards memory development, now it is very important for you to know what are the different types of memory that exist. The first most important at this early age is explicit memory, what we call it as declarative memory. It is explicit memory that a child starts to exhibit in the first 3 years of life, and of course it is present even in newborns. For example, a 3-day-old child shows preference for the mother's voice. However, the explicit memory again has got 2 subtypes, namely semantic memory and episodic memory. Semantic memory is nothing but recollection of facts. Looking at a football, the child kicks, grasps and throws it as he can understand the fact that the ball is meant for playing. What is episodic memory? It is all about the recollection of experiences. By playing with the same ball for a certain number of times with an adult, now recollects the experiences and uses the ball appropriately and only tries to kick it. The other types of memories, namely short-term memory, working memory and long-term memory, is there present in a child, but then those 3 memories do not really come into existence at the early childhood stage. Short-term memory is a memory stored for a while. It is approximately 15 to 30 seconds. Everybody has got the short-term memory. The working memory. This type of memory is like computer's RAM. This is needed for behavior regulation and problem solving. Then the long-term memory. It is a memory that is stored indefinitely. Toddlers do have only half of short-term, long-term and working memory capacities as adults, and it only improves with age and practice. A newborn's memory starts relatively fuzzy but grows slowly over their preschool period. The process of memory development is slow in the early years and it cannot be speeded up. However, certain memory fostering strategies can help the child to improve his memory potential. They are by asking the child to say a story. Saying story is a powerful tool for self-discovery, communication and of course memory. By making the child repeat certain idea or skill, the synapse gets strengthened in the brain. The third way of reinforcing the memory is by using associations of connections and acronyms to make an idea more memorable. The second way in enhancing the brain development is developing logical reasoning. The normal part of early childhood development is to make decisions by incomplete or incorrect logic and reasoning. However, it is the responsibility of the teachers and parents to provide proper instruction and encouragement in making decisions with correct logic and reasoning. Some of the activities that do stimulate the child's brain are listed here. First one is counting. Counting objects is a sort of brain exercise for children of 3 years and older. Though the child has difficulty in understanding the concept of counting, it is imperative to provide the related learning opportunity for the young mind. Second way is making the child spot the difference. Help children recognize patterns by providing them activities of identifying similarities and differences. The third way is by providing sensory activity. Hands-on activity that stimulate the senses are significant for the working of the little brain. By the rapid formation of synapses, sending and receiving information happens at a faster rate. Hence, small children have to be encouraged to use their senses with colors, music, food, texture, etc. The next way is you as a caretaker have to teach children to ask questions. Once a child gets to explore and experiment things with his senses, it is very normal for him to ask questions every time his words start with why. But do encourage and help them in asking right questions. Then the last one to foster the logical reasoning is to encourage children to solve everyday problems. For any simple everyday problems to be faced by the child, stimulate their brain by asking an alternative for that particular situation for which the child reacts better. Third is emotional development. How to foster emotional development? Emotional development regarding its intelligence or maturity is a crucial indicator for a well-adjusted member of the society. The reaction and response to emotion serves as an integral part of every developing brain. The child starts to react to others' emotions shortly after birth. So create a loving and trustworthy atmosphere for the child by encouraging them to treat others in the way as they would like to be treated. The most important element to be emotionally intelligent for any human being is empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand the way that someone else feels. Parents and teachers should remember an important fact that the development of emotional intelligence depends on the way that the child is being rewarded or punished. So it becomes significant for them to understand the important stages that the baby goes through, and thereby parents and teachers could respond to the great events appropriately. Some of the great events is shown to you. By 2 to 3 months, the baby starts to smile socially or even cry to grab your attention. By 9 to 10 months, the long-term and the short-term memory gets improved and new synapses gets formed, which further leads to the feeling of separation anxiety. By 18 months to 2 years, the child understands the concept of right and wrong, and moreover, the improvement in the language provides a better context for the child to explore his own emotions and relate to the emotion of others. It is at this time the foundation for emotional skills such as empathy, interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence is laid. By 3 to 4 years, a child becomes social with other children. When rightly directed, they learn to share toys and take turns in playing games with their peers. By understanding the origin and emotionality in children, it is necessary to provide them a needed, trustworthy environment to be emotionally intelligent. Also, teach the children to label and talk out their emotions. The fourth way of fostering brain development is by developing the language of a child. A very little assistance can have a quick progress in the speech and language development of a child. Board books and fun stories of early childhood literature can provide additional support to a young child's growing brain towards the language domain. Also remember, reading to the child can start early to foster language development. By 18 months, every child experiences a sudden growth spurt in the area of the brain that involves language. They rapidly expand their vocabulary during this period, and hence it's the responsibility of you, the parents or the caretakers, to introduce your child to as many words as possible. Also, it is at this period a child has to be exposed to bilingualism. That is, learning two languages at a time. Bilingualism improves cognitive skills, facilitates effective communication with more people, delays the onset of dementia, and it provides a broader perspective to explore and express several ideas. Fifth way to foster brain development is aiding the child for better social interaction. Human beings are social creatures. Hence, social interactions have got a significant effect on the brain development. Once this reality is recognized, every parent or a caregiver should provide activities wherein the children get actively engaged with other people around them. They need a lot of interaction as it stimulates their language center in the brain. Sixth, the more important aspect of fostering brain development is enrolling your child for the preschool program. Though schooling for children in preschool program is not compulsory, several studies have observed that children who are enrolled in preschool are good in their cognitive skills with improved readiness capacity. Also, the risk of developmental delays was at a minimal rate when compared to children who are not enrolled in preschools. Then comes proper diet. Diet takes up a prominent role in brain development because of two reasons. The first one is that the brain requires more energy and balanced nutrients to develop and work properly. Secondly, the period of early childhood itself is considered to be the period of rapid development. Hence, a diet with supply of nutrients such as proteins, vitamins and minerals like iron is much essential for a child. Some of the brain building foods are eggs for protein, leafy greens for vitamins, fish for omega-3 fatty acid. The eighth way of fostering brain development is providing enough atmosphere so that the child exercises physically. The overall health of the body is highly correlated with the health of the brain. Exercise during early childhood period definitely could improve the cognitive function. Do encourage an active lifestyle for the child by engaging him in sports and other play activities. And now, to sum up, this module would have made you realize the fact that the human brain is an infinitely complex organ, undergoing rapid changes and forming new synaptic connections in the early years of life, particularly during 0 to 6 years. Though the development of the brain is being influenced by many factors, including a child's relationship, experiences and environment, the parent and the preschool facilitator can play a crucial role in fostering the activity of the brain by providing stimulating and enriching activities appropriate for their age. Hence, every parent and every facilitator should understand that the relationship and positive experiences given to a child shape his or her developing brains. The needs of the child should be met with empathy, guidance and love. And do remember, love helps grow a child's brain. Thank you. Meet you again.